This tool that I'm going to reveal tells me every month what in my life is causing that imbalance and that unhappy feeling. And it then instantly tells me in a very visual, like literally you just look at it and then it tells you how to pick yourself back up. Hello, Money Honeys. Welcome back to another episode of the show, the Money Honey Podcast, with me, your host, Rosalia Tilly. I'm actually going to be solo in this episode talking about how I find happiness as an entrepreneur and in my life. I often hear people saying, Ros, you do so much, like you're thriving, you're smashing it, you're absolutely killing it. How do you do it? And I wanted to share a little secret, a hack that I use to keep my life in check, in balance, in harmony, not work-life balance, work-life harmony. How do I do it? And where do I get my motivation from? How do I get my inspiration? How do I get my energy? And I always hear this all the time, which is why I went for like yellow. You know, it's not an accident that I'm quite like vibrant and yellow, but it doesn't mean I don't have my dips as well. Trust me, I do. But I always hear people saying, I love your energy. Like, yeah, it's just an energy. So I wanted to explain how I get that energy. So I'm going to show you what I use. It's such a simple method. And I wanted to share it with everyone because I took it for granted that I was using this tool, which you can easily use immediately. So whilst you're on this call, I actually would encourage you and invite you to get a piece of paper and a pen or your favorite journal, get a book, whatever you journal in, get that ready right now. Get yourself a cup of tea, a coffee. I've got myself a black Americano ready. And we're going to do this together. I'm going to show you today what is missing in your life right now that is causing you to have an imbalance or to feel a lack of harmony or a lack of joy. I'm literally going to find that gap for you, not as a coach, not as a life coach, because everyone's a life coach these days. I am not coming in as a qualified advisor or therapist, okay? Literally, I'm doing this side by side with you as your friend, or maybe I'm just in your ear once a week where you're listening in and tuning in onto the Money Honey podcast. Maybe you're a client, maybe you're a friend, but this is for everybody, okay? This is a tool that I use in my life on a monthly basis, and it tells me exactly why I'm unhappy. This tool that I'm going to reveal tells me every month what in my life is causing that imbalance and that unhappy feeling. And it then instantly tells me in a very visual, like literally you just look at it and then it tells you how to pick yourself back up. So if you're ready for this, let's jump in. You are going to need to potentially watch this on YouTube because what I'm about to share on a screen is better visually. Okay, so you're probably going to prefer watching this on YouTube. So if you're on Spotify right now, you can still listen. I'll try and be as visual as possible in my explanation, but maybe going on YouTube and seeing the video might be better. So I want to introduce this concept first, and then I'll show it to you. So let me explain what it is. When we are working, or whether it's in our business or in our job, a lot of the world makes us think that our value is outside of us. Okay, so we measure ourselves against results. I mean, I know I do. The reason I'm sharing this today is because I'm addicted to results. I'm an addict for like results. I'm obsessed with results. What do I mean? I measure stuff, like my progress at the gym, my progress with work, my performance at work. I measure everything because the results is what makes me feel validated. And I'll be honest, like this is literally just something that I am conscious of, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying this is what I know to be true. However, that can leave me really deflated and really unhappy, because if I measure my life and success based on productivity and results, it can actually cause me to feel quite deflated when perhaps that productivity dips, or when I'm, taking a bit of a break. And if I'm not performing at my highest, then I often feel not enough. But you can't always sustain a full out, high impact activity all the time. So I've got a lot of energy, and obviously that energy at some point runs out and I have to recharge those batteries. But whilst I'm in recharge mode, or whilst I'm in relax mode, I can often feel like I'm not doing enough, or often feel like I'm not successful. And I'm only ever feeling successful when I'm achieving. Does anyone else feel like this? Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure it's not just me when I say that I get happiness from, and satisfaction and fulfillment from having achieved something. Okay, that's not uncommon, but that's not really a happy life. Okay, that's not really a way to live happily and harmoniously, and being in that state of flow. Whatever you subscribe to, however you explain it, feeling like the vibe, or feeling yourself, right? Or feeling positive. If you're only ever measuring yourself against performance, then you're going to struggle. And you're probably listening to this and you're going to tune into this thinking, yeah, that's me. If that's you, if you're saying, yeah, that's me, this is the video for you, because this hack that I'm going to show you will show you how to be happy in life, not just through performance and results that are perhaps driven by your work. Okay. And that's what led me to create this podcast and this episode today, because I really wanted to share it with the world, how you can have happiness and you can choose to be happy every single day, but you need to work on more than just work. Your happiness should not just come from your business or your job. So where does it come from? Well, let me show you, my friends. So this is called the Wheel of Life. Okay, I didn't invent it. It's not mine. I don't know who invented it, but it's something I discovered a really long time ago. I'd say about 12 years ago, I discovered the Wheel of Life. And I use this as a tracker. This is just an example, okay? So what I want you to draw on your piece of paper, so now it's time to get out your book or your journal and your piece of paper and your pen. And I want you to draw that circle, that pie chart in the middle of your piece of paper. Draw it big enough that it takes up quite a bit of space on your page. And then what I want you to do is divide that circle into like pizza slices, or a pie chart. So let me just work it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want you to draw 8 slices, please, around that circle, inside the circle. So now you've got 8 pieces of pie or pizza. I like pizza. Let's go with pizza. And outside of the circle, I want you to name every slice of pizza. And the slices of pizza are going to have 8 different names. So if you're seeing this visually, just copy what you see. I'm just using the audio to describe it to those people listening. So you're going to draw the chart, and then you're going to put the words around the pizza slices. So pizza slice number 1 is going to be called career, or business if you have a business, but career/business. Pizza slice number 2 is going to be called finance, then family, then health. Then the next pizza slice is going to be called fun and recreation. Then the next pizza slice is friends. Then it's personal development. And then it's spiritual. Okay. So these are your 8 slices of pizza, the 8 slices of sweet life. Notice how the balance in your life is way more than just career, right? And so visually, you can see that your life, in order for it to be a happy life, a harmonious life, you want to be looking at all of the 8 slices of pizza, not just one. So if you value yourself and measure your life by the amount of success and happiness you have in your career, you're only looking at 1 out of 8 pillars to have a beautiful life. So now what I want you to do is mark yourself and your happiness level out of 10 on each one of those slices. And so color in the chart, so color in the pie. So for example, if you take the slice of pizza for career, I want you to imagine that the widest part of the pizza at the top, near the circle, near the outer edge of the circle, is 10 out of 10. So if you colored in that whole pizza slice, that entire pizza slice, you would basically be 10 out of 10 happy with your career. If you're 1 out of 10 happy, you've got to have a number, and you're not allowed to be 5 on everything, okay? You can't just put 5. You can't just be half and half, right? You've got to try and stay either over 5 or under 5. And so if you're 1 out of 10 happy in your career, you would only cover and color in 1 out of 10. Does that make sense? So you've got to roughly estimate on your pie chart what's 1 out of 10 and what's 10 out of 10. So 10 out of 10 being the widest part of the circle and the slice. 1 out of 10 is the smallest point in the middle. Now, I want you to do that for all 8 slices. So mark your happiness level, 1 out of 10, between 1 and 10 on your career, 1 and 10 on finances, 1 to 10 in family, 1 to 10 on health, 1 to 10 on fun and recreation, 1 to 10 on friends, 1 to 10 on personal development, and 1 to 10 on spiritual. So I'm going to give you, a few moments to do that. Mark yourself there. Now, if you need to pause this, if I'm going too fast, then pause the episode. Once you've finished marking yourself out of 10, let's jump into the next step. Okay. So you should now be able to see whether you've done this in different colors or you've just done this in one pencil or pen, you should still be able to see how some of these pie charts are more colored in than others. And you will instantly and visually see how some of your pie charts or some of your pizza slices have rated very, very low and some have rated very, very high. Now, this is not my wheel of life. It's just an example that I've used from the internet. I've just taken an image. But you can see that this person has huge satisfaction right now, like probably 9 out of 10 in their finances. So that probably means they've got great money that they want, enough money that makes them happy. They've got maybe investments, maybe they just feel financially stable, maybe they've cleared their debt, whatever the case may be. They have rated 9 out of 10 in finance. Their career is probably 8 out of 10 from what I can see, but their family, you can instantly see that their top 2 successful measures of life right now, where they feel they're happiest, is career and finance. However, notice how their family and friends have scored the same, but at their lowest. So out of the entire pie chart, it looks like friends and family is what's suffering the most. Isn't that truly, truly transformational? Like if you're looking at your pie chart right now and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm at the best state in my career and the most money I've ever earned, and I'm loving my finances and I'm loving my money, but I didn't realize I'd neglected my friends and my health. My health scored the lowest. So I'm going to stop sharing and come back to you, because this is what I use on a monthly basis to see, where am I at with my friends? Have I been pouring all my time and energy into my business? And no wonder I feel lonely. I feel really lonely and sad because I haven't really had some good times with my friends. Or maybe I noticed that I've been out socially all the time, and actually I'm truly thrilled and excited by all the events that I'm spending time with my friends on, but I've neglected my family and I feel really disassociated from my home. So it gives you a visual guide of where you're at right now. So I've still got one more step on this, by the way. So keep with me, because there's another step. Once you've seen this visually, this gives you the response or the answer that you needed to visually understand why you're not feeling at your best. Okay. Or where or which areas you're not feeling your best. Which area in your life right now, have a look at your chart. Which area in your life is performing at its best and which is performing at the least best. Now I want you to ask yourself the question, what's the difference between, so if you scored 4 out of 10 in health, what would it feel like if you were a 10 out of 10? So think about that gap and say, right, I'm a 4 out of 10 because I do X, Y, Z, but I would feel even more phenomenal if I could what? How would you finish that sentence? My 10 out of 10 life, we're in the health category, would be 10 out of 10 if I could commit to going to the gym once or 3 times a week, and I could walk once a day. I want to do 10,000 steps a day, and I want to lose 5 pounds. Like that would be, I think that would be my 10 out of 10 life, right? So now, because you know you've scored low in that category, what you're also able to ask your brain is, okay, if I'm 4 out of 10, how can I get myself to 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10? So next to the pie chart, you can maybe do an arrow that comes off the pie chart of health. Make a list of all the things that you could be doing or the things that you want to be doing. Now, don't write a list of 10 things. Write 1 or 2 or 3 things at most. So if you scored really low with your family, perhaps the question is, could I commit to seeing my family once a month? Or if you already see them once a month and that doesn't feel like it's enough, could you add a phone call a day? You know, does that bridge the gap? Does that make you feel a little bit better? Could you organize a big family gathering? Will that spike up your happiness in that family category? Do you feel like you've been leaving the kids at home during the summer holidays and you don't feel like you've been giving them enough attention? Could you arrange a family day out? So the wheel of life is so powerful because it tells you where you're doing your best and where perhaps you need a little bit more attention. And then because you know that, you're able to ask yourself, well, what do I need to do to make this better? And that's how I approach my life on a monthly basis. I look at my spiritual well-being. I think, oh, okay, I haven't been to church that much recently, or yeah, I've been really on my phone a lot and I haven't really had time for meditation, you know, so I can address that. Or I look at my family and think, yeah, I've spent a lot of time with my family recently. I'm really satisfied with that. I feel like I've seen them enough, but actually I've not really been doing much stuff for me, like my personal development or myself, my health has kind of like taken a back seat. Maybe I should book myself a spa day. So every month I redesign the wheel. I draw it again. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need PDFs here. You just draw it in your book, draw it a circle, do 8 pieces of slices of pizza, 8 pieces of pie, and then measure yourself and your happiness level against all of those metrics. That is my hack for you today. There's not really much more I need to say about it, to be honest. If you have any questions or if you want to ask me anything, please feel free to comment below in the video or reach out on social media. I'd love to see your pie charts if you're brave enough to share them on social media or on like Instagram stories and you want to tag me to tell me that you've done it. If you want to send it privately, that's also okay. If you want to, if you want to just keep it to yourself, that's also fine. But I would love to see how you're implementing this. And I would love to hear it from you on social media, how you're getting on, because honestly, for me, it is so grounding, so comforting, and really reassuring. And it's really practical. It helps me refocus and really think about where my happiness is at. And then, guys, I don't have to judge myself based on just career. You know, if my career right now was a little bit, you know, was feeling a little bit flat, but actually I was on amazing holidays and I was partying with friends and I was at the gym and I felt my best life. And I was like, do you know what? My business right now isn't the priority. My business, my life right now requires for me to just enjoy myself and have some fun. That's also okay. And other times it's knowing that you absolutely need to go full out in your business. You can't just assume that balance is 10 out of 10. Like 10 out, this is not what we're going for, guys. Okay, we're not going for 10 out of 10 on every single pie chart. It is impossible to do that. Okay, and if it is possible for you and you've done it, amazing. I'm so happy for you. But that's not the goal. The goal is to sometimes be truly in the zone of work, and that's okay. Like sometimes you have to go full out, and you might need to have some conversations with your partner, your kids, your family, and say, look guys, I'm under the radar for the next 90 days. I am literally going to need to go full out in my business, and that's okay. And then you might come out, and then you might have a big blowout party or a holiday, and that's your moment to enjoy other aspects of your life that also carry a lot of weight and a lot of importance in your life. As always, remember that if you want to stay part of this community, you want to be a part of this beautiful community, we have the newsletter that you can subscribe to, which you can check out in the show notes. Please come and find me on social media. I love hanging around TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Would love to connect with you and follow your story and your journey as well. And of course, remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel because I'll be bringing more exciting episodes. And we've also got weekly guests and interviews happening with Money Honeys. So thank you again for tuning in and good luck.